Everything comes to a head tonight, claims RJ, the most devious man in Chicago City. When I was thinking to myself, oh no, Rumpel Jeremiah City, everything came to a night the night before All Out when you know who was you know what. Not one boo. Not one boo for a man who was so closely affiliated with you know who, and not one boo for a man who had issues with you know who too. That might just be the biggest WTF moment of the entire night, up the hangman. When asked if he'd ever been in a battle royal, Nigel McGuinness replied, no, never been one in my life. I'm better than a battle royal. What a sassy bitch, eh? Triple H levels of burying from Nigel McGuinness there, as every single wrestler in that battle royal and the very concept of charity was sent 6 feet down in the midst of one commentary line. Imagine shouting, put me down in the midst of an over-the-top rope battle royal when you've already been put over the top rope. In that moment right there, Cool Hand Ange became silly ass flange. Them bars. If you don't laugh, you'll cry, as the old saying goes. In a similar vein, if you get eliminated from an over-the-top rope battle royal, help your way all the way to the backstage area, baby, yeah! That code blue was all kinds of code poo, but mere seconds before, her body was split in two, so the fact she did that code poo makes me go ooh ooh ooh. Light the fuse, bring the boom, dem bars on fire once more. You might be thinking to yourself, that is the face of a man who does not like the beer he has just tried. But it also could be the face of a man who just broke one of the rules that AEW themselves sent to their talent in July, and he knows he's on for a big old spanky from Tony Khan when he gets backstage. If I was Adam Cole, I'd take a count-out loss, said Nigel McGuinness after MJF was taken to the back with a broken freaking neck. I don't think that's in Adam Cole's DNA, says Excalibur, who clearly does not have a Scooby-Doo who Adam Cole has been for a large chunk of the last decade. The only shortcut that man wouldn't take is with his own bastard hair, up the long luscious locks. And that sign there reads, Tony Khan just cured cancer. And on a night where the signs were getting confiscated by the handful, I am shocked. Look at my shocked face. Oh, the horror. I am shocked. That one made its way right in the center of hard cam on the front row of the arena. I cannot believe it. And then we hear Kevin Kelly call Alex Reynolds of the Dark Order a bulbous bellend. Not just your bog standard old bellend, a bulbous bellend, which must be the Pokemon evolved version of just a normal, horrible, ugly bellend. I just can't believe he said bellend live on the air, and based off what I've seen about Kevin Kelly on Twitter over the last week or so, I guess it takes a one to know a one. Potentially, I don't know. And then he did the thing right, and then MJF reacted to the thing, which means those two presumably will be doing a thing in the upcoming not too distant future, which means I'm looking forward to that thing, you know, yeah. But then right, in the middle of the ring, and I'm gonna say this even though I too think it's a bit of a stretch, and I'm sure nobody in the comments will get angry about it. Samoa Joe pushes MJF. MJF lunges at Samoa Joe, and then Samoa Joe locks MJF in a guillotine chokehold. And I might have just read too much stuff about the CM Punk and Jack Perry thing from All In last weekend, but doesn't that sound just how the thing started backstage before the monitors were falling on Tony Khan? I hate myself for saying this. I hate myself so much, dear viewer, that I need to go outside and do what all the cool kids recommend the not cool kids do, and that's go and touch some grass. So excuse me for a second there. Oh, God, that's lovely, yes, oh. And all of that random assortment of baby faces who came to the aid of Darby Allin. That came out of nowhere. That was a bit weird, wasn't it? And it's especially weird when you realise it's a shock that Darby Allin has so many mates to begin with. Because in storyline, and maybe in real life, I don't know how the lines are blurred on this one as I do that with my hands, Darby Allin walked out on AR Fox because he was being a good friend apparently when AR Fox was at his lowest in his life, when surely when you're at your lowest you want some friends around you. But not Darby Allin, he walked away, so him having friends here, it's a massive WTF moment, it all makes sense. Darby's a scumbag. Meat forever. In summary, those big meaty men well and truly slap their meat well hard off one another, and ooh, I would like some more, please. Hot and flexible, I was thinking George Mizanin was about to make his AEW debut. But no, it was the hot and the flexible wife of Miro who was coming down to the ring to save her man, and I don't know about you, but seeing those two next to each other in the ring once more, it took me back to the glory days of Rusev Crush, Rusev Machka. Delightful days. Happy Rusev Day, everybody. But then, a WTF moment had a steroid jab shoved right up its arsehole because Miro saw his wife, who he's referenced in so many promos over the last however many years, and he started shouting "You're not real" towards his hot and flexible wife like she's some sort of lizard man on an aeroplane. I guess upon seeing her in a wrestling ring, Miro suddenly remembered that horrible affair Lana had with Bobby Lashley. Shocking. Who knew that Kris Statlander is a graduate from the Derek Zoolander Center for Kids who can't read good and who want to learn to do other good stuff too? And who knew the other stuff from that school was being a best friend turned alien turned mother good wrestler? Aha! Back of the net. It's really great banter. I'm reeling off these lines because the last thing I expected to see at All Out 2023 was an Alan Partridge reference, but here we are. And hold your horses, hang on there now. Nigel McGuinness called Hangman Adam Page with his own mouth Hangman Adam Cage. So I'm right to assume that Hangman Adam Cage must have a father, and there's a chance with that surname that father would be the father of the year who wants to harm every other father. So maybe, just maybe, the father of the year who wants to harm all the other fathers might want to harm himself. And it's a WTF moment. I don't care what you say, a match ended with an uppercut. And I know you sat there saying, Ross, you silly tit, it was a Claudio Castagnoli uppercut, which means that's an uppercut that is a cut above the rest of the uppercuts. But I'm here to ask the question, how many Claudio Castagnoli matches end with an uppercut, even when he whaps out that fancy one where he throws a fool in the air and does like that to said fool? This is unprecedented. And I'm sure Eddie Kingston will take it well. There were so many WTF moments from Takeshita versus Kenny Omega from every single move the pair of those beautiful bastards hit in the midst of what was a perfect professional wrestling match. But to summarize, as they all go behind me there, like a choo-choo train going through Chicago town, the biggest WTF moment has to be that spot there. One word, which I guess is 4 words, wah wah wee wah. 4. Jon Moxley plus a potted plant equals Vietnam flashbacks. Remember how bad those days were, dear viewer? It's wonderful to see how far the character he's been afforded to play on television has come. Up the Moxley, up the Moxley. And I tell you what, Jon Moxley's involved in a big main event match and his opponent is the first one to bleed. I don't know what we do now, just grab 2 of each blade and head for the bastard border. The end is nigh, the end is nigh, time to run away, the end is nigh, nigh. I'm just shocked the juice that came out of orange isn't actually orange, or would it be red, since he is a blood orange? I've tried to do something then, it's not quite worked, has it? But there we go. That's all the WTF moments from All Out 2023. I've been Ross Tweddle from Cultaholic Wrestling, and I'll see you somewhere.